Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. So if you're a researcher, you already know the deal. Moving a study from that first brilliant light bulb moment to a published, peer-reviewed paper is just a massive journey. And let's be totally honest with each other for a second. The actual logistics of building the survey, yeah, that can easily feel like the most tedious, soul-crushing part of the whole process. But today, we're exploring a seriously fascinating new tool that's designed to completely streamline that exact process. We're going to take a close look at DrAIStudio's SmartForm. Now, I want you to think of this not just as another run-of-the-mill survey builder, but as your new all-in-one AI-powered research assistant.
Look, we've all been there, right? You spend hours just wrestling with formatting headaches, trying to get those Likert scales to align perfectly on the screen while literally questioning your life choices. Or worse, you face a dreaded IRB rejection because you accidentally missed one tiny but crucial piece of informed consent language. It's incredibly frustrating, and honestly, it just takes time away from the actual science. But what if you had a system that drafted, checked, and even analyzed your research surveys within a single unified workflow? Okay, let's dive into this and see exactly how SmartForm makes this a reality.
Here's a quick roadmap for today's explainer. We're just going to follow the natural, chronological workflow of a research project, meeting the assistant, AI creation, editing and refining, running methods and ethics checks, and finally publishing and getting those results.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Meet Your New Research Assistant. Let's see how this thing actually streamlines the survey lifecycle. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the dashboard breaks the entire complex research workflow down into 5 clean, manageable areas, all accessible right from a single hub. You've got the builder, which is where you create everything from your basic consent forms to those super complex Likert scale grids. Then there's publishing, where you manage your drafts and actually push the survey live. Sharing gives you all the distribution tools like QR codes and tagged links. The respondent page is exactly what it sounds like. It ensures your participants get a totally seamless, mobile-friendly experience that can even save and resume their progress, which is a huge deal for completion rates. And finally, results, which we'll unpack later, handles all your live analytics and data exports. It's a true end-to-end ecosystem. But hold on, before we get too deep into the nuts and bolts, we absolutely need to establish how this tool thinks about artificial intelligence. SmartForm is designed to act as your AI co-pilot. It is brilliant at drafting constructs, flagging readability issues, and running preliminary ethics checks. But you, the human researcher, are firmly in the driver's seat. The AI's outputs? Treat them as editable drafts, not final products. It's ultimately up to you to review the wording, verify the scientific validity, and of course obtain formal IRB approval. Basically, the AI handles the heavy lifting so you can focus your brainpower on the high-level critical thinking.
With that co-pilot mindset firmly established, let's jump into Section 2, AI-powered questionnaire creation. This is how you actually start building inside the platform.
The SmartForm workflow is beautifully straightforward. You can begin totally from scratch, or you can leverage some incredibly helpful built-in templates. For example, if you're doing a standard academic survey, there's an ethics-ready template that instantly preloads your consent form, demographics, a sample construct, and a debriefing section. If you're in, say, HR or organizational behavior, grab the leadership and engagement template. Or, and this is where it gets really cool, you can start with an entirely AI-generated draft based solely on your research aim.
If you do choose to let the AI generate things for you, you've got some amazing options. You can literally just type out a description of your study aim and your discipline, and the AI will draft a full editable questionnaire for you right there. If you already have your variables and items, no problem. Just paste them in as a raw text list, and the AI will instantly convert them into structured questionnaire blocks, keeping your exact wording perfectly intact. You can even click an AI Generate button right inside a Likert grid to have it draft scale statements for whatever specific construct you're studying. It is an absolute game changer for getting past that intimidating blank page.
Of course, as we said, an AI draft is still just a first draft. And that brings us to Section 3, editing and refining your survey.
Once the AI hands you that initial structure, the manual builder tools let you mold it into a rigorous scientific instrument. You can drag and drop to reorder questions, and you can easily set up conditional logic, so certain questions only show up if a respondent meets previous criteria. But here's the really clever part. You can assign role tags to your constructs. By tagging a block of questions as your independent variable, your dependent variable, a mediator, or a moderator, you are essentially teaching the SmartForm platform about your specific research model. This pays massive dividends when we get to the data analysis stage. Oh, and you can preview the respondent experience at any time directly in the builder just to make sure it looks perfect on both a desktop and a phone.
So, the crucial point is, well, it's section 4, crucial methods and ethics checks. This is quite possibly the most vital step in the whole process, because it's all about preventing methodological and ethical disasters before your survey ever sees the light of day.
I mean, we all know that terrible sinking feeling, right? You launch a survey, collect 100 responses, and then suddenly realize a reverse-coded item is confusingly worded, essentially ruining that entire data point. Well, SmartForm has an AI methods check that scans your entire draft to prevent exactly this from happening. It flags wording quality, checks if the reading level actually fits your described audience, and spots those missing reverse-coded items. And beyond the methods, it runs an exhaustive ethics check too. It reviews your consent language, makes sure voluntary participation is stated clearly, and flags sensitive items. And it doesn't just complain about problems, it actually suggests AI fixes, like it'll automatically draft missing debrief language or strengthen confidentiality clauses for you to review.
Now, when you finally clear all these automated hurdles and resolve the flagged issues, SmartForm generates an ethics-readiness certificate. But wait, let me be crystal clear here, because this is absolutely vital. This certificate is an automated pre-screening and self-assessment aid. It is fantastic for your own internal records, or, to prove to your supervisor that you've done your due diligence. But it absolutely categorically does not replace formal approval from your institutional review board or university ethics committee. Always, always follow your institution's rules.
All right, so you've got your formal approvals in hand. Now it's time for the fun part. Section 5, publishing and analyzing results, where your survey goes live and the data starts pouring in.
The second you click Publish, your survey is live to the world, and you can monitor everything from one unified results dashboard. What's fantastic here is the live tracking. You can just sit back and watch the opens, responses, and your overall response rate update dynamically as submissions arrive. No more aggressively hitting the refresh button on your browser every 10 seconds.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where your traffic is coming from. Because the platform lets you generate tagged links for different channels, as well as QR codes for physical posters or slides, the results dashboard shows you a breakdown of your participant sources. So if you're struggling to get enough responses, this chart will tell you immediately whether you should double down on LinkedIn, blast your email list again, or maybe print out a few more of those QR code posters for the student union.
And as that data pours in, SmartForm really goes to work. Remember how you assigned those role tags earlier, the IVs and DVs? Because you did that, the platform can automatically generate a research framework diagram and run preliminary analyses for you, like reliability, regression, and mediation. It also actively monitors for bad data, instantly flagging speeders who just rushed through, or people who straight-lined by picking the exact same answer for every single question. And when it's time to do your own deep dive, the export options are incredible. You get a standard CSV, an automatically generated codebook, formatted SPS syntax, R or Python scripts if you want reproducible analysis, and even an automated APA write-up if you've got enough data. It's a researcher's dream.
Let's move to and see how this builds into some highly practical pro tips. We dug into the user manual and pulled out some of the absolute best everyday practices to help you maximize what this platform can do.
Okay, rapid fire time. Here are 5 pro tips to ensure your data stays squeaky clean. First, keep your respondent's instructions short and highly specific. Don't write a novel. Second, use only one construct per Likert grid. Trust me, this keeps your scoring and reliability analysis so much cleaner later on. Third, always mark your reverse-coded items with an R so your documentation is foolproof. Fourth, don't wait to run the AI methods check at the very end. Run it after any major edit so you catch issues early. And finally, when you're starting a new but similar study, don't start from scratch. Just duplicate your successful questionnaire so you don't have to rebuild your baseline demographics and consent forms.
Building rigorous, ethical, and effective research instruments has historically been a slow, painful, and highly manual process. But by utilizing an AI copilot, you can drastically reduce that tedious, busy work, catch methodological errors way before they ruin your data, and basically streamline everything from your very first draft right through to your final analysis. So the question isn't just whether you're ready to let DrAIStudio SmartForm be your copilot. The real question is, what kind of groundbreaking research are you finally going to have the time to uncover once all that busy work is completely out of your way? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy researching!